Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Alice with Sage Leaf Studio. And oh my goodness, I've been going down a rabbit hole with all my Ollie's haul stuff. I knew that I wanted to do something either fall, and I have been working on some fall decorations and different things, but I've also wanted to work on some Halloween stuff. And I landed on doing some collages. I had a large piece of cardboard, and it was really formidable. It's it's very, very thick, and the best thing I thought to use it for would be maybe some collages, some sort of art. And I cut it into fourths. Let me get some of my stuff out of the way here. I cut it into four pieces that are essentially the same size. I might have been off a little bit here and there, but I started working on these collages. And here's the other piece, and I haven't finished it, and you can't see it because I've got this. Let me just scoot out a little bit. Let me see if I can. That's the wrong way. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So, but anyway, this is what I came up with. So I've been playing around with some printable stuff that I had, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But I've also been using some of the Ollie's background pieces from the adult coloring books that I found. So if you saw my previous video about my Ollie's haul, and I've actually been back, so I'll talk about that at the end of the video and show you what else I went and got. But this is utilizing the stuff that I already had from the Goblin Core coloring book, and just love the background sheets and everything. So I used that one. I used that one. Well, I'll show you. But anyway, came from that. And I'll just go ahead and show you. I picked up some printables off Etsy of some really interesting things. And these four pieces are from something. These ones are from Vintage Gothic, from the Vintage Gothic collection from Painted Poppy Prints. And they were doing a deal where you could get like two or three different things for one price. So I thought, well, you know what? That's fine because I love this stuff. And so these came from Painted Poppy Prints also, and they're from a Forest Witch Grimoire collection. And of course, I love that owl. Anyway, I printed these out just to kind of see what they look like. I like the color of them. They're nice and stainy looking. But then these, so are these pieces. And so these are all from the Vintage Gothic collection. So, Gothic church looking thing. But I just thought they looked nice and kind of, Halloweeny. Kind of little macabre, not horrible, but kind of macabre. I don't know, but I just thought they were neat and interesting looking. So I covered. That's not from the coloring books, but this is. So I used as a background for this collage. I used one of those sheets and some other pieces. And this one has the same one. On the back is the snail. I thought that was just interesting looking. So I used that for the background on that one. And then this one's pretty neat. I love this paper that I used. This is also from those sheets. So I don't know. I just thought it was some really interesting, and I like the bugs and the mushrooms and just all the, kind of bubble, toil and trouble kind of stuff. So anyway, but just tried to make these all a little bit different. Use some buttons and some burlap and some string on this one. And I went online and I found a lot of, I don't know, sayings, quotes. Some things are you know, pretty apparent and you've heard of them before, but other things I hadn't heard of, like I had never heard of Dexter Cozen, and that he said, "Shadows of 1,000 years rise again unseen, voice whisper in the trees, tonight is Halloween." Anyway, but on this one, and I thought she was so pretty, and I found a quote from an Ella Fitzgerald song. "I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered am I." And I just thought that was so pretty. So anyway, put that together and used some string on this one, and embellished with some other little cutouts and different things that I had, little ephemera pieces. This one's a little sparkly. This is just some stuff I had in my Halloween stash, some cool looking stuff, and just glued that down underneath there. I think that's knowing me, that's a tea bag. See, I can't even remember. I just did this the other day, and put a little mushroom situation here. But I just thought these were just really interesting prints, and there's tons of them. So I'll put a link in the description to that Etsy shop and those. I don't know if I can link directly to those sheets, but at least to the Etsy shop, and then you can look it up. So anyway, just some interesting things. So I thought I would work on my fourth one, and I chose this paper, and it's not exactly, I went ahead and cut it to the size I needed, and that's it, and that's it. But this was from another sheet, and that's what I used on that other one, so it's kind of got a different look to it. I don't know, I thought it looked a little like, blood or something. I don't know, I was just trying to be just trying to be all Halloweeny about it. So anyway, I think what I want to do is make it my main page. So I'm just gonna lay this right here, and I'm gonna get my glue and stuff ready. So I think what I want to do is get this going. I'm gonna use my tacky glue for most of this. I'm just waiting for the bubble to come up so that I know it's down here now. This is some really slow moving glue, but that's good because that's what I need. So yeah, so I'm gonna get that going and kind of plop it here for a minute. But what I think I'm gonna do is go ahead, and if I can work fast, I can use my, I really should cut the corners first. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do that. Hang on. No, you know what? I'm not. I'll cut it once I get it glued down. I'm doing this. I just know that I got to work fast because this stuff really dries fast. This going. Just start in a corner and just start blobbing it on there. I'm just going to make sure the corners are really done well. This corner was a little bent, and I didn't realize that until I was working with this one piece, but I don't think it's going to matter because I'm just going to glue it up and cover it up with paper. Yeah, my glue stick's still sticky under there. It's just, but I just thought it would be good to kind of give it a double dose. So there we go. All right, so I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to flip it over and try not to get myself stuck to it too bad. Just do that. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to fold over those edges. I'm going to cut the corners real quick. So let's see if I can. Well, that's already dry, but it helps for this. And get that going, just make sure it's nice and stuck down. See, I really like that. I may end up covering that part up based on my papers that I have ready to go for this, but I don't know. I'm say I'm ready for Halloween. I'm not really. I mean, I still want some summer, but at this time of the year, I'm always kind of itching for a little bit of a season change and just to get on with. I love fall, and I love fall decor, and football and all the things that come with fall. The kids are going back to school. I don't have kids in school anymore, but I have grandkids, and there's always fun things to do with them about school. So anyway, so I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to do a quick little not so beautiful cut across the corners just so I have not so much paper to deal with when I do my fold over. So there we go. I think this one, yeah, that one might give me a little bit of a grief if I don't get it a little bit closer. So there we go. All right, so let's get that stuff out of the way. And now, before I go back and do any more gluing, I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to have it help me get a really good hard crease on these edges. Just want to bring it up and really fold it in. There we go. Still could be brought up. So do that all the way around. And I don't even know what you'd use these for. I just thought, you know, since it was such an interesting hard piece of cardboard, well, it wasn't interesting when it was just a piece of cardboard, but you know, that it would make something interesting, and you could, you know, you can hang it on the wall, you can put it on an easel, on a mantle, you can, I don't know, make something out of it, give it away. But, and I thought, you know, having a set that sort of has consistency to a degree, the size, all the different, you know, using the same genres, same colors, more or less, same papers, and then just, you know, playing around with just the extra embellishments and not making those as consistent. I just think that's interesting. I always like to try to kind of bring some continuity, or I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I'm not going to bother with the, let's see if I can get my let's get that bubble up there. Come on. I don't know if you can see it or not, but bubbles rising to the bottom. Okay. So I don't think I need to bother with the glue stick here. I'm just going to get a good bead of this on here. And there's other glues I could have used. It's just, this is, I have a lot of it and it's handy. And it'll stay sticky for a minute. So I'm just going to leave that, and I'll just pull them all over together at the same time. I guess I had a little piece of cardboard sticking up there. Now it's kind of yucky in there, but that's okay. We're going to cover it up. Let's see. I want to make sure I get on these edges good. And but I'm excited for, you know, Halloween, and I actually have another video that I'm going to do pretty soon that is going to explain what I did last year, and it involves my grandkids and a fun time that we had. They came and spent a weekend, well, a night over a weekend with us, our 3 older grandkids, and at the time they were 11, 9, and 7. And we kind of, you know, had this whole thing. It was, you know, kind of created a little booklet out of some ephemera for Halloween. Didn't make it too spooky because the youngest one was still, I don't know, you know, I didn't want to freak her out or anything, but just created this sort of like activity booklet, if you will, and just, you know, really fun, cute little thing. And they got into it. They got to, you know, there were tuck pockets and kind of like a journal card in there, but they were activity cards, and they each got to, you know, pull however many, and whatever that activity was, then, you know, we'd go kind of on a scavenger hunt and look for the instructions about it, And anyway, I won't tell you too much because I'm going to do a video about it and show you what it looks like. And since it's already created, it's not going to be a tutorial, but it was super easy to make. And you'll be able to see when I explain it better in that video. But okay, so there's that corner that's a little bit soft. But otherwise, those look good. And I'm not too worried about these. So I think, so that looks pretty good. And this is going to be our front, but I do want to cover the back. And out of that Goblin Core book, I found this sheet. And I thought, well, I'm probably not going to use, and see, it's that other great bug stuff. And I could use that. But I thought this guy was kind of interesting. So maybe he would be cool to put on the back. I mean, it's almost like it's a little extra treat, you know, to have, you know, have the back be finished too. So, you know, just in case somebody, you know, is like looking at it and they go, oh, okay. And they go, oh, there's more stuff on the back. Okay. I don't know. I think that's important. So anyway, but he obviously doesn't have to be this big. So I need to, let me go over here to my off camera. I'm going to give it a slice. I am. Just get this rough edge where I tore it out of the book because I was getting all excited and didn't think it was necessary to be careful and cut it. And I'm gonna cut that that border off. So we're talking about, I mean, I guess I could just go ahead and cut that off so I can kind of see exactly what it is. So I'm cutting into the design just a little bit. But that way I can see better what I'm dealing with here. And I'm not using an under piece, a cutting piece underneath, so it's getting a little hairy, but so it's definitely going to be, I think that's going to be cool. It'll show most of him, a little bit of this. Yeah. So let's do that. So I need a pencil. So I'm just going to get him right up to the edge, but not on the edge, because I don't want any pieces falling over. And then I don't know if I'll be able to mark this. Will I be able to see that? Maybe. I'm going to get it over there and go, I can't see, where did it go? Okay, and then this one can be about right here. Hopefully, or I forget, I'll be able to see it. Let's see. Somewhere here. Yeah, I see it now. Looking in the wrong spot. I promise I'm going to do it right. Okay. There's that one. I'm just using my Fiskars tabletop cutter with the wire guide, if that makes sense. Here. You know, this one. That's the one I'm using. I just have it off to the side. So anyway, okay, so here's this guy. And I think he's going to fit perfectly right there. And I'm okay that the corners are showing just a little bit because I'm going to ink this whole thing. But first, I want to ink him. Let me grab the walnut stain, which is nice and dark, and I think apropos for this, I say that all the time, apropos. This is appropriate for this application because it's Halloween after all, and it ought to be, if we're doing this, it ought to be grungy, right? A little bit grungy looking, so we're going dark. We're not going black, but we're going dark. Walnut stain. Okay, that looks pretty good. I do believe. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's that. And now on this, I can just, since it's just this page, this paper, it's nice and thin enough, and it will work well using the, look at those people in that hot tub. Oh, wow. This is an old Costco book because it's got all kinds of Valentine's stuff in it. Anyway, I'm just going to give this a really good dousing of glue with the glue stick. Get it really good. And I don't know if you could say saturated when you're not talking about a liquid glue, but it's definitely got a lot on there. So that's what we're doing. And it's really stuck to my book now. Here we go. And you know, I could come back and do a little embellishing on this guy if I wanted to. I could give him some color. I don't know, something. Okay, it's wiggling around a little bit. That's okay. Just pulling. Whoops, pulling too hard. Hang on. It's a good thing this stuff is pliable and workable. Affixable. Is that what they call it? Affixable adhesive? It's definitely that. Okay, that's good. That's enough wiggling around. It's got a little bit more of a border down here, but I don't care. There's that. Grab this and just give it a really good rubbing. So there's no bubbles. And I can see there aren't. So that will be let down forever. So there you go. Let's put our lid back on that guy. All right. So that looks good. And I will ink the whole thing all the way around the edges and everything when I get done. When I'm at that point near the end. So I was thinking I've already used, I already used this as a background for this. So how about I use this for my underpiece. And you know what? Let's look back at these real quick. This one, this piece is over on this side. This one's on this side. This one's a little more over on this side. So I think I want this to be over on this side. But do I want it to be like that? Maybe. I mean, I kind of did that with this one. Everything's kind of more over here. I love being able to see, you know, the background a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to kind of try to focus on this side for the larger pieces. So, okay, let's do that. So, what do I want of this? I think I kind of like that because it's got some, again, it's going to be kind of covered up, so I don't think it's really going to matter, but there's some lighter and some darker stuff going on here. So, I'm going to cut it maybe about right here. Let's do that. Let's just say we're going to do it, I don't know, maybe about right there. I'm whispering, I don't know why. Okay, wait, let's see. I kind of like this. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, I didn't use my under cutter page, so I've got little wispies. And I could tear it, but this is torn, so I kind of don't want to. And I've been using my corner punches, my rounders, not the plain ones, but I've been using my more fancy ones for all the others. Like I used, on this one, I used the double bump, as I call it. And on this one, I used the triple bump right here. And the other one, I already used them all, so that one's got the little notch. I don't know, maybe we should use should we use the fancy one? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do the triple bump, as I'm going to call it. And do that. And do that. And the piece is still in there, so I've got them all over the place. Set that off to the side. Get rid of those because they're going to be all over here in a minute. Okay, and I want to ink as I go, so. And on these printables, I mean, they come, this is basically like a 8 by 10, 8.5 by 11 image when you open it up in its original state. But I didn't, need anything that big, so I put it in another document and just put all four up on one page. So it's basically a fourth of a page. And then with tearing and everything, it's a little bit smaller. So, okay, that looks pretty good. Set that off for just a sec. Okay, let's get this, get all these bits and pieces off of here. And grab our, is that too bad? No, not yet. So we're going to use that same page to glue this, to saturate it with glue. Okay. I just realized I don't have my hair pulled back, so I hope it's not messing with my microphone. Let's see, I really like that light stuff up there. I know it's not that big of a deal or difference, but there's something aesthetically pleasing to me about that being up here. So get that going. It's nice and smooth, and then immediately we're going to turn around and ink this guy. Yeah, this is just, I don't know, these images are just so interesting. I just really love them. I mean, I'm not, not a witch or anything. I know there are some people who are, and that's fine. If you're a witch, the more power to you. Perfect. I'm reading a book right now about owls, and it was written by a witch. She's a witch and a shaman. I'm not sure how that works, but it's a cute book and very informative, actually. And I love owls. I'd show it to you because it was also an Ollie's haul. So anyway, okay, let's get our, let's see. Yeah, we're still doing okay on that page. We're gonna, I don't know what that was. We're gonna grab this. Now, if I was gonna put anything in between, now would have been the time. And by that I mean like an embellishment in between my pages. But I'm not doing it. I don't know. I want to stay over to this side a little bit. See what that looks like. I'm going to batten it down because I want to make sure I've kind of got it straight before that's a little better. Right there, or not. I could be crooked. It happens more often than I'm willing to admit. Okay, so like that. Now, here's the thing. I like to put my little sayings down at the bottom, but maybe on this one it's going to go, maybe it's going to go up here. I don't know. Well, I need to pick one out too. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to suffer through picking one out with me, but I have them right here. And these are, look at all my scrap. Look. Let me get this over here. When I'm doing something like this, again, I like to leave all the scraps. Here, I moved some. All the scraps that are going into this one project, anything that I tear away or use. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that stuff. Goes into a pile right here by me so that I can go back and use, things. Like if it's too small of a piece, I don't worry about it. But some of these little swatches and things you can end up using. So anyway, here's all these extra pieces. And that one I probably had an idea and then probably didn't need to use quite that much. But it's a blank piece. So I've got all these saying. So I just went in and I think I have 2 sheets of this verbiage, and tea stained the paper, and I use an inkjet, and it seems to be fine when I've gone ahead and printed it and everything on it's just copy paper, and I print it and then I put it in my tea and leave it for several hours. Depends on how dark I want it, and it never runs or anything. I've used a laser printer too. I don't know. Sometimes that stuff doesn't work as well. That ink doesn't work as well for other things, not necessarily for this. But these look great, and I've actually been tearing them with my tearing. Where is it? Poke myself, but I was using my tearing ruler, and I never use this side because it scares me, and it's so ragged. But you can see that I kind of went through and did this. Anyway, I'm supposed to be looking for something. So we've got this crow in this kind of Gothic church. So what would speak to that? I mean, I could do the whole nevermore because of this crow, but I don't know. I don't know. So I'm down to, I like this, and I don't know. Maybe I will use an Edgar Allan Poe. It kind of speaks to the raven. It's a crow. There is a difference, I do believe. Okay, so I think I'm going with Edgar. I'm gonna try to eyeball this right in the middle here. I think that's crooked, so we're gonna go this way. I'm just gonna tear. Maybe, and that's formidable. It turns into something totally different when you tea stain it. It becomes quite formidable. Okay, here we go. I think that's close enough. It's close enough to the part that I'm after. So if it's a little bigger down at this end, that's okay. Because I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to tear it. I guess I should have paid attention to where I'm putting it. That's going to fit down there for sure. Okay, I'm getting rid of that tiny piece. Don't anybody get on to me. So I still have a lot of good stuff left over. I have all these that I can use for more Halloween-y stuff. So I think I better, since I did the other 3, put that away before I kill myself with it. Since I did the other 3 down at the bottom, I think that I ought to do this one down there as well. There we go. I think that looks good. So I just need to kind of decide. So I got to figure out what I want to do as far as my embellishing goes. And I grabbed a couple of things over here. Let's get those into view. I had this piece of material, which it's left over from either some curtains or bedding, but it's gray. And I thought maybe maybe a swatch of it. I don't know though, that gray. Does that gray really match that gray? Does it have to? I don't want to cover up too much. I don't know, that's an idea. You know what? I don't have any pinking shears. I wish I did, but I don't. So I'm gonna just cut on this. I actually don't mind that kind of frayed edge there. I'm gonna go around here and just sort of cut out a circle. Not that I want it to be like, looking like a circle when I get done with it. Let's just see. See, I kind of like that. I like the idea of the frayed edges, which is kind of what I did with this burlap. It's really like a long piece, like ribbon, but it's also got this kind of backing, which is nice because it just falls apart otherwise. But I kind of stretched and pulled and got some of the pieces to kind of fray. So I thought that was kind of cool looking. So I think just kind of tearing this up, and I don't know, maybe I won't use this, but definitely needs to be more worn looking than it is right now. So I don't know. Pulling at these ends, it's sturdy, that's for sure. Stick that in there for a minute. I don't know. Really what I want. Could kind of inky it up, like kind of dirty it up. Maybe that's what it needs because it just seems a little. I don't care if I get it on there. Seems like it's a little too crisp, a little too fresh. All these little fibers are going to come off of it. I don't know. Interesting enough. Well, I can decide here in a minute because I've got some other things. I had put that key on my Ella collage. I've got this other larger paper key. That one was, well, it's paper too, but it looks metallic. But I've got this large key. Almost looks like it's too much the same color, although it would blend in. And I've got this cute little mushroom torn out thing that's just an ephemera piece that I had from something else. I don't know that that's necessarily necessary. And then I've got this weird safety pin. This was some stuff that I think my husband gave me that when I was doing some other projects that I had. And I could bunch up my that. I'll not flip it over, but bunch this up. I could pin it through that. And then, I don't know, that's kind of cool. Let's take him away for a minute. I have this black washer I thought was interesting too. Could make it the eye of the bird. No. I don't know. Okay, you know what? I do think I want to use the material, so I'm gonna glue it, and it's gonna take a little while for it to dry. So I'm gonna stop here and get this glued, and then I'll be back and figure out what we're gonna do with it once it's glued down. So there we go. I'm excited for it. Okay, we're back, and already another project has encroached in the area just in that small amount of time, which is actually about a day. It has been a day since I was last showing you this. Okay, so here we are. So we ended up with this kind of now grungied and frayed material, and it is glued down and good and dry. And I did incorporate that brass looking safety pin. I've got a silver one too, and I've used these before. I'll have to ask my husband what they really were for, because he's the one who gave them to me out of some old, I don't want to call them trinkets, but like something in his toolbox where he has a lot of little metal things like these washers. Anyway, he gave that to me, so I'll have to ask him what it was. But anyway, so I've got all this, and I think it's getting close. I didn't want to junk these guys up with too much stuff because I love being able to see the prints, and I don't want a bunch of clutter. I mean, I love layering too, but not in every instance. So I'm trying not to be too heavy-handed with the embellishments. So this is looking pretty good. I still think it needs something else. I don't think it's that necessarily. I've already got a mushroom over here in this other one right here. So we're not going to do that. I've already got a key. Although I like that key, but I don't think it's necessary now. And it seems like, you know, trying to emulate this somehow. Plus this one's got the key. So not that. And I couldn't really figure out what to use this washer for. I don't think I need anything else metal on here. I do know that I wanted to, and I was going to break my rule and have this, it's really a pocket watch, I suppose, over here, but I really like this clock. So I thought maybe, and especially in the sense that I have something lighter colored down here, that maybe I needed something a little lighter over, you know, on the opposite uh, diagonal corner there. And these are just these little stickers. Let's see. I just feel like it's actually it's not bad, but I think I want to ink it just a little bit. So let me get my arm in the way and just try to barely. These are just, well, paper thin, but more than paper thin. They're just really thin, and I don't want to crinkle it or crease it or anything. Okay, that's good. Just didn't want it to be too crazy wide around the edges. Let's see if I can get the clock does have an orientation, doesn't it? So I'm kind of thinking, kind of liking it there. So maybe that's going to go right there. Come in pretty good shape. And I was thinking about adding some glue to it, but you know, I think it's okay. I think these stickers stick pretty well. I did use one here. I don't even know what that's really supposed to be, but I thought it was interesting looking and sort of tied into that. I don't know if you can see it. Can I get it? I don't know what that is, but it's pretty. Anyway, okay. So I think I'm calling this good. So this is what I ended up with. Let's see if we can get them all in frame again and have a look at them. Let's see. Got here. Let's do this. Let's do this right here. Let's see if you can see. Anyway, I just thought they were cool. I think they'll be neat. You can give them away. Could sell them. Maybe I'll sell these. I don't know. We'll see. But I think they're cool looking. And I'm going to make some more things with these prints because I think they're interesting and there's just tons of them. Lots of really cool, different looking genre stuff. So anyway, so that's that. And then I promised that I was going to show you the other Ollie's trip. I'm not going to call it a haul because I didn't really end up with a bunch of you know, like crafting stuff. I did get a few things. I got some stencils and some different things, but I went back and I got some more of the books that I was talking about. So let me show you. Now, this one's a little bit different. And I saw this one when I went the first time and I didn't pick it up. And I don't know why I didn't because it's really got some cool stuff in it. So it's again, and it's not a coloring book. It's more of a sticker, color, and activity book. And it's actually got all these really cool things in it. So again, with the beautiful inside covers, lots of good art to steal from. And I'm just going to run through it real quick. So, you know, you need to go and get you one. But what happens is, and these are even cool for doing designs and stuff, it's got all these quotes. And then on the back of those pages are all these sticker pages. And it's kind of shiny, sorry, but all these are stickers, and even the backgrounds are beautiful and could be used. But stickers, all manner of stickers. You can see even just beautiful backgrounds without quotes, more stickers, just tons of this kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of use here. This is cool. Could use that if you were putting together a recipe book, a cookbook. Okay, these were funny. I mean, these would be great fussy cuts right here. Just some Victorian looking stuff. It's just such a fun little book. This is really funny about Floranthology. And I'm not going to say any more about it because I think you ought to get one or go look that up. There's Sheryl Crow. Anyway, just beautiful stuff. Great art. Look at those. Those are great. Those are going to get used somehow, somewhere, sometime. And this even reminds me of the backgrounds in that the Goblin Core book. And this. More like what we saw in those. So, yeah, I think there's just some really, really great stuff. Yeah, there's more of that kind of stuff. And then it gets back into the stickers and quotes and stuff again. Look at those. That whole page is cool looking, but those are actually, stickers. So anyway, pretty for the fall. Poppies. Yeah. Oh, look at this. I mean, it's supposed to be, it's a puzzle as far as like spot the 15 differences, but I think, how about just use those in something? Never mind. It'd almost be worth it to go get another copy to play with, to use it as its original use. That's beautiful. And then just have one to just cut up and use, because and there's all the answers to any of the puzzles. There's that one. Of course, they've circled everything, but you could still maybe use some pieces out of it. And where you're supposed to put stickers. Yeah, and you could even fussy cut these. I mean, you're supposed to go get the sticker and stick it in here, but how about just cut those out? Anyway, it'd be fun to have another copy. This was a splurge at $6.99. They claim the regular price is $19.99. Does it have it? Yeah, $19.99. So anyway, but that's a cool thing. I got two more of the coloring books. This one's called Forest Core. So you can imagine it's got a lot of great animal stuff in it. The usual really cool backgrounds, really cool front pages. And when I say backgrounds, I mean the backs of the pages, the coloring pages. Look at that with all the forest animals, always mushrooms. That's really cool looking. Anyway, so that is neat. Look at that guy. I thought that was neat. And this is kind of cool, like, you're collecting moths or butterflies in jars and stuff. Anyway, so there's that. I'm just going to run through that real quick, like that. And this one is Beautiful Botanicals. So it's another one like the rose or the flower garden one. So it's got some pretty stuff too. Look at that. And these are all these square ones with the over 100 pages are all $3.99. So that's a pretty good deal. Look at those backgrounds. Can you see all that detail? I just love it. Look at that. And really, probably the camera doesn't do it justice. Oh, look at, see how sweet that looks. A shadow on it, but that's pretty cool. So anyway, more of the same. And if you ever just wanted to stop and color in it, you certainly could. So what was this page? That's pretty. And then as an added bonus, I picked up this cute little book over in the book section. It's only $2.99, Crazy Cat Lady. And look, it's so cute. It's just got all these cute little, let me zoom back in a little bit so you can see all these cute little backgrounds. And I don't know, maybe I won't cut it up. I have some crazy cat lady friends that I could give this to that would get a kick out of it. But it's just really got, if you were doing a journal for someone who was a crazy cat lady or a cat lover, I should stop saying that. But people do love to be called crazy cat ladies from what I know about it. But anyway, you could put You could put some of these things in there. You can make some tags, some cards out of those. And you know, it's nice heavy duty paper. So yeah, really cute. Thought that was cute. Good idea. Just to grab it whenever you need an image like that. So cute, cute, cute. Da 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 da. So there's that. And I did run over and back into the other room and grab this owl book. Remember, I said that the Rika Moon Song, the person, the girl who wrote it, woman, person, um, fancies herself a witch and a shaman. And I forget where she talks about that, but somewhere she does. So anyway, but look at this book. First of all, I love owls, so you know, it speaks to me in a big way, but there are so many just beautiful, a lot of beautiful text, beautiful illustrations, just, you know, just some really, really cool looking. I love these illustrations. Spells, and all kinds of things, but just look at all these guys. Anyway, I thought it was a really cool book, and when I finish reading it, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to do anything with it. I might just have to keep it, because you know, sometimes you just got to keep them. Look at that guy. Anyway, thought it was neat. Anyway, that's basically just what I wanted to show you from Ollie's from this go round, and I'm sure I'll be checking back and you know checking out to see if they have any more paper and different things like that. So I know everybody's kind of making a mad dash to their Ollies lately just to see what we can get, but it's important because you know you want a good deal, and they you know they're coming through with some pretty cool stuff. And yeah, so anyway, that's the end of this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Maybe it'll be some more Halloween stuff. Okay, thanks.